Hey everybody, it's Cindy with Monarch Mom DIY. Welcome to my channel. If you're here for the first time, I hope you'll stick around by hitting that subscribe button. Today I have 5 new fall farmhouse DIYs for you using mostly items from the Dollar Tree. Here we go. For the first project, I'm using 3 of these shadow box type frames, 3 fat quarters from Walmart, and these wood words from Hobby Lobby. The first thing I'm going to do after opening the plastic is to remove the backing from each of the frames and also remove all of the glitter star confetti and set that aside. I'm sure I can use it on a future project. Next, taking my 3 different fall fat quarter fabrics, I'm going to use the backing from the frame to trace a piece of fabric to completely cover this back piece of my frame. Once I have the 3 pieces of fabric cut out, I'm just lining them up on the back of the frame and using hot glue a little bit at a time and then just pressing down the fabric onto that hot glue. And I'll do this with all 3 fabrics to all 3 frame backs. Then just taking my scissors and just trimming any excess fabric that is hanging over the edges. And here is what my 3 different fabrics look like. Now these wood letters are from the fall craft section at Hobby Lobby. You could also use this wall sticker from Dollar Tree. You would just apply the wall sticker to the front of the glass of the frame, but these you get 2 blessed, 2 thankful, and 2 gratefuls for, gosh, I think it's normally $3.99 and they were 50% off. So just hot glue those to the center of your fabric and then return the back to the inside of each frame and secure it in place with the little enclosures on the back. And here's what all 3 of them look like with the frame assembled. Simple project, but I love how it turned out. And if you can't find this fabric, you could always use scrapbook paper as your background for each of the letters instead. For this next project, I'm using one of the pumpkin wreath forms, some various fall floral, the buffalo check ribbon from Dollar Tree, and this jute twine. The first thing I'm going to do is take this jute twine. This is slightly thicker than what you get at Dollar Tree. This is from Walmart, and just attaching one end with a little bead of hot glue, I'm going to wrap this entire wreath form with the jute twine. I love that it gives it a rustic farmhouse look, and even though it takes a little while to do, I absolutely love the effect that it gives. And here's what it looks like once I've gone all the way around the outside and also the stem. And now I'm just going to go down each of the vertical lines on the pumpkin. And here's our Dollar Tree pumpkin wreath form, completely covered with jute twine. The next step, again, is the one that's just completely up to you, the creator. I just have bits and pieces of some various fall florals, some leaf garlands, and I'm just taking pieces and hot gluing them to my pumpkin wreath form wherever I like. Now this was a fall kind of candle ring that I found at a thrift store. Rather than use it that way, I'm going to unravel it a little bit and then use bits and pieces to also add in to the floral on my wreath. Then taking this wired buffalo check ribbon from Dollar Tree. Right now you can find this in both the Halloween crafts or the fall crafts. I am just tying a simple bow and then just working with it, fluffing up the ears and twisting just until I get it the size I want and also the shape that I want. And then after cutting the other tail to be about the same length as the first one, I'm going to fold each of the tails in half and then cut the little notch starting at the outside and angling up. And then just taking again some hot glue, I'm just going to attach the bow to the top of the pumpkin stem and just hold it in place for a minute or so until it's completely adhered. I did decide then to use a few of the little berry strands off of this candle ring. So I'm trying to untwist them from each other and then I will cut them off and stick a few of them in to add to my wreath. And here's the completed pumpkin wreath form. You of course could add more or less florals. This will probably hang on my front door. For my third project, I'm using one of these 3D wood trucks, some different chalk paint, some paint markers, and two of these signs from Dollar Tree. The first thing I'm doing is taking some acrylic orange paint and a small brush, and I'm just going to paint the two pumpkins that are in the back of the truck. Next, using my Waverly chalk paint in the color Moss, I'm going to give my truck 2 good coats of this beautiful sage green color. Now, while that's drying, I'm taking these 2 signs from Dollar Tree. It's fine that they're not exactly the same. I'm going to be gluing these together back to back. So here you can see I'm taking my hot glue and trying to stay just on that edge all the way around, and then I will attach them together. But you're also going to see that I'm going to leave a little space on the top. So here, pressing them together and on the sides, and here I'm opening up the top just a little bit. I want to leave a space there to fit the truck in. So I want to give this stand a wood look. So I'm first going to give it 2 coats of my Waverly chalk paint in the color Hazelnut. This is just going to be like a light oak, maybe wood color. And then we'll use our truffle to give it a wood grain look. So you can see why it's going to take 2 coats because of the wording and the different plaids. So while that's drying, I decided to add these wood letters, or you could use this page from this calendar that says harvest. I decided I wanted to use this Merlot colored Waverly chalk paint and paint the letters to spell out the word harvest using the wood letters from Dollar Tree's craft section. Now coming back to my stand with the hazelnut all dry, I'm taking my truffle paint and my chip brush and this dry brush technique and just adding some of the truffle brown streaks just to give this stand a little bit more of a wood grain effect. The next step for my truck is to take this silver painter's paint pen made by Elmer's. I buy these at Walmart, and I'm just coloring in the hubcaps of the truck. And now that my letters are dry, I'm just figuring out the placement of them on my little wood stand. So here they are all going to fit, and then I do decide to glue them up a little bit so they're a little bit sticking up from the top of the stand there so that I can add the word blessings underneath harvest. Once those letters are all in place, I'm taking my white paint marker from Elmer's and just freehand writing in cursive the word blessings. I did need to go over this a second time just to make sure it was nice and bright. Next, I placed my finished truck in the little slit that I left in the stand and just put a little bit of hot glue where each of the tires were just to hold it in place. My last step is to take some of this thin gingham ribbon from Hobby Lobby and tie a little bow that I'm going to glue to the stem of the bigger of the 2 pumpkins in the back of the truck. And the last step is I'm just going to put a dot of hot glue on that bow and attach it to the pumpkin. And here is the finished product of my truck on a stand. I think this is so cute. It turned out even better than I thought it would. And let's see, this cost $1, $2, $3, $4 if you count some of the wood letters. So I love this project. My fourth project for today, I'm using a 3-pack of the 5-gallon paint stir sticks from Lowe's, this Simply Blessed calendar from Dollar Tree, and my Waverly antique wax. I am also going to use a wood dowel that I'll show in a little bit. So my inspiration for this project is this page of the calendar. If you don't have the calendar, you can look up online some free fall printables. That's where I found those and just printed on my printer. But you could use any of those fall type of graphics. So what I'm going to do first is take my paint stir sticks and I'm going to use the antique wax. You guys, if you saw my last video, know I tried a different brand and it was just too smelly and too messy. So I'm coming back to my antique wax. So if you've seen me use this before, you brush it on, let it sit for a minute, and then wipe off the excess with a paper towel or even a rag. I love that you can see the dark wood color, but you also see the grain through the stain. Next, using this 8.5 by 11 printable that I made as my template for space, I'm going to measure where I need to cut my 3rd paint stir stick in order for it to fit on the top and the bottom of the paper. So after cutting those with my little handsaw and just remeasuring them to check, you can see that I'm making like the front of an easel or a signboard. Now taking this piece of foam board from Dollar Tree, I'm going to measure out a piece that will go on the back, and essentially the wood pieces will be glued to this just to give it a little bit more stability to be able to change out whatever sign I want inside. So I'm going ahead and cutting this out with my utility knife from Dollar Tree, and then I will be able to glue the sign to the front. And I'm just going to use a thin line of my Gorilla Wood glue to attach these pieces. I'm starting on with the side pieces, and then while the glue is still wet and I can move things around, I will put the smaller pieces at the top and the bottom and make sure that my letter sized sign will still be able to fit in the middle. So I needed one more piece to make the stand be able to stand up, and I did not have any more of the larger paint sticks, so I decided to use this dowel that I had on hand. I'm just going to again wipe on some of the antique wax and then wipe it off and let it dry completely. So I was just able to take the dowel and kind of make an indent in the back of the foam board. I think you can kind of see it there, and then I just filled it in with a little hot glue, set the dowel in, and kind of stood up the easel at the angle I wanted and let it dry. Sorry, it's hard to see because of the camera angle, but there's what it looks like with the little easel. And here's a closer look of the finished product. I think this is so cute, and I love that you can change it out for any season. You can just set another printable in there and it can easily translate to any season or holiday. For this last project, I'm using this milk can that I got at a thrift store, some new Dollar Tree florals, and some fall window stickers. So these are some different window cling stickers that I have for fall, and just showing you different, you could just put a pumpkin on the front or some leaves. I've decided I want to use this one word that says fall. Again, if you wanted to just leave your can plain, you could do that as well. Now this was not sticky. I maybe could have just sprayed a little water on it and it would have stuck on, but I decided to go ahead and use just a little bit of some matte finish Mod Podge, and after pushing out all the bubbles and letting it dry, I think it looked pretty good as a finished product. Next, instead of using the floral foam for the inside of my can, I'm taking my utility knife and this pool noodle, and I'm going to cut 3 pieces like this ring and stick those down inside the can and use these instead of floral foam. Here I'm showing you some of the new fall florals that I found at my local Dollar Tree. I liked that all of these had smaller flowers, and then the 2 that are more like this, where it's kind of grassy looking. So just cutting these a little bit shorter because my can is a little short. I'm just poking them into the pool noodle rings and kind of spreading them out. And again, as with anything with florals, it's just your personal taste, how you like them arranged. I don't know about you guys, but I am just loving the variety of the fall colored florals at Dollar Tree this year. These colors just make me so happy. I just am excited for the leaves to change colors. And here is the final product of my little milk can fall floral arrangement with, again, the vinyl sticker on the front and all the beautiful fall colors. Again, thank you so much for joining me today for these 5 fall farmhouse DIYs. I hope you are inspired to create something of your own. I would love to know which of these 5 projects was your favorite today, which you may attempt to do, and please give this video a big thumbs up so I can bring you more content in the future. Thanks!